board here. All right. So probably won't wait any longer. We'll just kind of jump right into this so you guys can get our Sunday afternoon going. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm just going to keep everybody muted till the end. It's optional if you want to turn your camera on. I like to see you guys, so it's nice to see faces. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes. Okay, good. If you do have any, good. If you do have any questions midway through, put them in the chat. That way we can remember what we're talking about. And then I will open up at the end of the session here, and then we can have a little chat if we want to, if you have any extra questions. Like out of breath. I was trying to water my grass before I started this. And so I'm out of breath trying to run back and forth. All right. And I should be live. It should be going live on Facebook. So all that should be good. Okay. If anybody else pops on, I'll just admit them in as we go. Here we go. So how are y'all doing today? I am Candace Berlanga, of course, owner of Feng Shui by Candace, content maker for Learn Feng Shui. I'm really excited to get to do these monthly workshops because I think seeing it and kind of coming in live and looking at it as it's being done and given some real examples kind of shows you how to use Feng Shui a little bit easier. It's really kind of confusing sometimes when we come to Feng Shui and you learn all this stuff and you're like, okay, so I know these 8 directions, or I know, where these things are in my house, or here's the theory behind it, but how do you actually use it? And I think that's the thing that most people want to know. You want to know how to use it. You don't want to just know where the areas are in your home. You want to know how you can apply it. So I thought these Feng Shui workshops would be really helpful. Trying to find my screen share. I feel like things move around this Zoom screen all the time. And so I thought these monthly workshops would be super helpful. So we can just, again, look at examples of real, how to actually apply it. So I can't seem to find my screen share on here. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead, come in here and share this with you guys. So we can kind of jump into it. Let me fix all that. Uh-oh. Let's not jump ahead. Okay. So again, connecting your animal signs to your personal energy within your home. So this is technically, it's what is called the 24 mountains. For the technical name of what this, this application is called. What happens is that you have these animal signs within your natal chart. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is how to discover the directions that these coincide with, where each animal sign is at, how to connect them with your personal energy, and how to kind of enhance them and use them to support you, but also when to know like what you're supposed to use within your home. So when do you actually use these? Why would you need to use these? How do they support you? And then I always talk about timing because my biggest thing is date selection. I love date selection, and I think it's the most useful, and it kind of ties it all together. But first, I always like to touch on a little bit of kind of our mental state when we're applying feng shui. Excuse me. I've had like allergy or like asthma symptoms. We have really bad blowing dust, and I'm like trying to catch my breath as I'm talking. So I sound winded, but I just have asthma or something. Okay. So what I want to talk about first is kind of identifying those blocks or problems in your life, because it's most effective to apply feng shui if we actually know what we're looking for in life. And so to kind of explain that, I like to kind of ask these people questions. Like if you were to call me and say, hey, I need a feng shui consultation, this is one of the things I would walk you through. What's the biggest issue you'd like to solve? And I think most people, for the most part, they know what the biggest pain point in their life is. So if, it might be relationships. I think the most popular is probably relationship, health, and finances, career. Those are the most popular ones. So if you kind of are aimlessly wandering through life and you don't really know what direction you're going in, you might be having trouble knowing what you really want. And that's okay too. But one of the things, so I follow Master Joey Yap, and one of the things he always says is think about what you don't want. And I really like that, because if you could think about like, what do you not want to manifest in your life? What do you not want to see happen? You can look at the opposite of that and think what you do actually want. You don't want, a bad relationship with your kids. So that means you want a good relationship, and harmony in your family, right? So just kind of digging a little bit deeper and kind of troubleshooting. Feng shui is really good for problem solving. And then this is what helps you decide what you want to use with feng shui. So knowing what your problem is and what you want to solve can take you to that point of knowing what exactly you need to do within your home to have, that supporting energy. On to the next one. So this is kind of just a little bit of I'm just going to show you guys this, because this is what most people think about whenever they think about feng shui. They'll come in and this is probably the most popular, which you kind of see online. So you'll see these things that show you like these areas within your home. This is a Western version of feng shui. So you might look at it and you're like, oh, my career's here. Or, when you walk in your front door, it'll tell you that, if you look to the right rear, that's your love and marriage. Well, you might even look at something like this, where you look at the north and you think that that's your life or career path, or you look at the south and think that that's supposed to be like fame and reputation. But these are so general that it doesn't really give you an effective use of feng shui. Certainly, you can enhance with the elements that represent the areas, and that's usually what I tell people to do when they start out with feng shui. But if you're looking to target a problem, again, this is just like a more Western, it's a more intuitive version of feng shui that really focuses on placing out items and using more of an intention to enhance the area. But here with classical feng shui, we use the compass directions. And so classical feng shui again uses compass directions. This maps out the chi of your space. So of course each direction is associated with an element, as we can see here. But within those 8 directions, it could actually be broken down into 3 different subsectors. So if you notice, it says, S1, S2, and S3, so there's actually 24 directions within your space, and these are called the 24 mountains. So each of the 8 areas is broken down into 3 subjects. I can't speak today. 3 subsectors called the 24 mountains. And so just kind of taking away some of the busyness of that template I was showing you. If you notice, each one of them is labeled different. So it'll show you here. And most of the time they're in Chinese, for the Chinese character. And I'll simplify that for you guys. So most of the time it's just about finding patterns. So if you look at it, you'll notice every other spot on this template is an animal sign. And if you notice, the 2 animal signs that represent summer or fire are together. And then you have earth. And then the 2 animal signs that represent metal or fall are together. And then you have an earth element. Here's the water, here's earth, here's spring, and there's earth. So in between each of these seasons or elements is an earth animal. And so for the cardinal directions for south, north, east, and west, you're only going to have 1 animal sign associated with them. But for the inner cardinal directions, which are southwest, northwest, northeast, and southeast, you're going to have 2 animal signs associated with them. And we'll go over that in just a second. So each animal sign in between the seasons are, and make you guys bigger. Okay. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I can't see y'all. Okay. So here, and I'll put I actually have this up on my website. I'll put a link to it for you guys. It's just an easy little template. So it kind of translates for you. Woo is horse, Way is goat, Shan is monkey, U is rooster, C is dog, or she is dog, Hi is pig, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, and snake. So again, I'll put that up for you. And it has the exact degrees right here. So you can kind of find them within your space. And I'll put a link up also to a template that I use. It was when I first started learning feng shui, and when I went to get my certification, the teacher, and she still teaches feng shui, and she's awesome. But she actually created a template where it marks it, and I'll put a link up if you guys want that, and then you can find the degrees and mark it within your space. Okay. So, well, I will ask. First of all, do y'all have any? Too far. Do you have any questions about that before we move on? Just about finding the animal signs in your space. Let me try to pull this back up. So if you do, just type them in the chat. Okay, here we go. Yes.
Oh, let's see. Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. So I'm very new to the whole feng shui, just kind of dipping my toes in the water, but I was very confused. I definitely love the flying star feng shui because it makes the most logic sense to me as energy is moving.
Yes.
My question where I get confused is when we're talking about the different areas. So you do use like a compass. It's not like where you take like chi is the front door, so that becomes your north. Okay, so it definitely is like use a compass, north, south, west, east. That's where the energy is matching to the Chinese. Okay, correct. And then do you recommend a certain kind of compass that you like to use?
For this one, I would recommend you putting something that looks like this over. This one's called the 24 Mountains. I don't know if can you see that? Okay.
Okay. Yep.
This one's called the 24 Mountains, and it is something that I offer to do. If you have your floor plan, I do offer that for free to. I'll have you take the direction. I'll lay it over your floor plan, and then it shows you where all the areas are within your home. So that is something I offer to do if you need help with that.
All right.
And I'll put links to everything in the comments. If I could find them again. I'm trying to get back to the Zoom page and I can't seem to do it. So I'll put everything in the comments in the section, in the chat section. So I'll put some links and I can definitely help you do that. But yes, it's when you are taking a compass reading, it is from the front of your home. So whatever area that I always tell people this, if a realtor were to go take pictures of your home, that would be just the front facing side of your home, whether your front door is there or not, because sometimes the front door is facing a different direction. So it's just the front of your home. It's like the access of your home.
Okay. And not to complicate things, but if there's just a quick answer. So I live in like an apartment complex. Mm-hmm. So I live down a long hall. So is it my front door or is it the front door to the complex?
That will have to, you know what? I'm going to tell you, let's go ahead and chat because the apartment is different. An apartment is different. Yeah. And there's some different readings you do for an apartment. But I can definitely answer those questions. It would probably have to be more of I'd have to show you a few different things to take directions.
No worries. I just didn't know if there was a simple answer or not. So it's all good.
No simple answer. there's a couple different, it's just a couple different measurements needed, but it's a little bit different. But that is a good question because yes, some people might be looking and they are in an apartment. So in short, it's just different measurements. It's different measurements.
Thank
And
you,
I'll,
Candace.
sure, sure. All right. And so I'm going to leave this one up. I'm going to leave that up. And if you guys want to take a screenshot of that, or if anybody comes in later and they're watching the replay, they can screenshot this one. And again, I'll put a link up to this one in my on my website. I have an article about the 24 mountains also. So let's check that out. Connecting these areas to our personal energy. So let's look at connecting these areas. All right. So I have the plotter on my site also. If you don't know your animal signs, don't go and plot them right now. It's okay. Let's just talk about how to do it first. And then you can always go back. You can plot out your birthday. All you do is plug in your birthday on this plotter here, and it'll give you something that looks like this. And it's a lot of information. So the only thing you have to look at for the purpose of doing this is these animal signs here. So you have an animal sign for the year you're born, the month you're born, the day you're born, and the hour you're born. The hour, a lot of people don't know it. If you don't know it, don't get caught on doing that. It's okay. A lot of people don't know it. It just leaves out a little bit of information, but the rest of this is enough. It's enough information to understand what you need to do. So the hour is more about your emotions and your thoughts and feelings. So although it is important for some things, the rest of this can be looked at to get enough information for what you need. And it is still a little bit general, but this is a more effective way of doing feng shui. And again, I'll put a link to that up if you want to check that out afterwards. So once you, again, here's the template I would use. And these are easy to find online. One of the things I do is it's super easy. And again, if you need help with your floor plan, such as you do, Elizabeth, that is something I offer to do for free. I can lay this over. I think it's probably one of the most, a lot of people get caught up on it when they're first learning. And so don't get caught up on it. Just message me or, whatever. If you find this later on and you're rewatching the replay, there will be a link so you can have me help you put this over your floor plan. So once you orient yourself, say here's the facing of your home and it faces this degree here, you can look at your natal chart. Actually gonna, okay. Okay. I don't know if that makes it bigger for you guys. It's the only thing I don't like about using this. Okay. Is I can't make it bigger. Okay. So one of the things you can do, so here now you know that when you look at your natal chart, you have a dog, a rat, another dog, and a tiger. So now you go back to that guide that I had and you could say, oh, okay, I know that northeast is a tiger. I know that north is the rat area. And I know that northwest is the dog. So what do you do now? Just kind of locate the specific degrees in your space and see what's there. And what I like to tell people really is that'll kind of give you a general idea. Like if you look in these areas and you have like a lot of clutter, if you have a lot of mess, looking at external features, if there's something in the area out here that is considered, bad forms, then that might be affecting you. I always tell people just make sure you keep it clean. So here's just a really general way to kind of enhance the areas. Keep the areas clean and clear away the clutter. That's remember, feng shui is about the flow of qi and whether or not your space is able to receive the qi. And so you want to make sure that the areas that connect to you in your home are actually receiving that qi. So you can see what's in that area, see where it kind of falls in your space. If you notice, oops. Well, if you notice in this example, The front door falls here where this dog area is. So that means that they're able to use that area to receive chi. It connects to them. The tiger area here has a window. They're able to actually, I think that looks like some sort of door. They're able to open that door and receive the chi flow there. You want to make sure that's not blocked. This area might be a little more challenging because it looks like that's a laundry room, so there's not really a way to really work with that one. So, but that's okay. You work with what you can do, and don't worry about what you can't do. So don't look in your space and say, oh no, it's the toilet, I can't do anything there. That's okay. Use a different area. So now that we looked at, let's see here. So another thing you can do is look at the flying stars that are in that sector and see how that could potentially be affecting you. Use the animal signs that connect to your chart. So if any of you have studied Bazi or the Chinese astrology, there's certain animals that are harmony animals. They create a harmony with your animal signs, or they combine with your animal signs. So you can use the animal signs that connect to your goals. So that's kind of thinking about what are our goals? We go in and what I said at the beginning, what do you wish to achieve? And to explain that a little bit easier, I really want to look at just an example here using the areas for support or boosts. So I'm gonna explain this first before I kind of take questions, because this might answer some questions. So what area of your life do you need to enhance? What's the problem? Again, we talked about that at the beginning, kind of troubleshooting it. And like, really, what is the issue you really wish to solve? Like, what are you trying to achieve? And who or what can help? So this is what is going to be determining the area that you use. So if we look at this, I really hope that it's shown bigger for y'all. Let's see. If we look at this here, snake, dog, dog, snake, rooster. Here's another example of a chart. Okay. So let's just say this person here, let's say Jane Doe's having career issues and she wants a promotion that come with a raise in her company. How can she make this happen? Well, this is a little bit of troubleshooting, because for this example, you would have to know, of course, you would know yourself if you're doing this for yourself, but what does she need to do to make this raise happen? Okay. So we'll take a closer look at it. Here's your animal signs. Here's her chart. Again, a lot of information, but we're just kind of looking here for now. And then we'll add something else in. So we talked to Jane Doe and we noticed that we find she needs to receive a certification in order to be able to apply for the position. So what animal sign could she use? How does this apply to her? What could she actually do? And so what if I was doing this as an actual, consultation? I would look at it and say, okay, so if she needs she needs to take a certification, maybe she needs to take an exam, maybe it's something she needs to study for, we could look at different areas. So for this purpose, and again, this takes a little bit of, it just comes with practice. Here, one of the things I would say would be her intelligence. So Wu is the horse. So one of the things we could do is come and look in her home and say, oh, wow, we actually want to use, I think I went too far. That was supposed to be there. Okay. So if she just needs to get a certification and maybe she just needs to study a little bit more, one of the things I would suggest to her would be to use the South. Because the South to her is her intelligence. So by using the South sector, which is South 2, to study, that would actually activate a couple different things for her. So by looking at her chart, we know that for her, the horse isn't her intelligence. because it says so right there in the chart. And we know also that the horse is her peach blossom, which actually is supposed to increase like your charisma. It's supposed to make you want to kind of appear more attractive, like you want to look good, you want to, look nice, you want to appear nice, you want people to like you, maybe you're a little more chatty, so it actually increases your likability. And so for her, this simple area, all she would have to do is spend some time here, but actually take the action to study in this area. And she could even, as an added bonus, she could open this window here because she's bringing the chi from outside. And that would help her activate the area. So sometimes you may ask, what if you can't use the south? So say, for example, now that, say we oriented the house in a different direction and the south is her bathroom. Again, like I just said, you can't use the bathroom. You can't really activate it. What if it's in a closet? Another option is to use what is called the Tai Chi of the room, or the small space of the room. And so another option would be to just use the south area of your room. You can kind of grid it out like that. This is the south of your home because you've already applied the compass over it. So it would be easy to see that this is the south of the room. So you can just, again, section off the room, and then just use it the same way you would use the compass direction. The only disadvantage is, you're not using the exact direction, but it is good enough to give you a boost. So you can still do that. And for this, I will, let's see. Trying to get back to my I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Okay. Now I can see the chat again. Is there any questions here? Let's see. I don't see any in the chat. Okay. Again, if y'all have any questions mid class here, just pop in the chat and put it in there and I'll look through in a second. Okay. Start that again. Okay. I'll go back here. Okay. So the last thing I want to touch on is, well, you know what? Hold on. Let's see. Another thing I was going to show you is that say it's a whole different scenario, and maybe she, did say maybe her disadvantage was she didn't know anybody in a higher air, that's has to do with the hiring process. Say she's already qualified, say she already knows everything she needs to know and she's applying for this position, but her only disadvantage is she doesn't really know anybody that's in the hiring, that's doing the hiring, and she wants to connect with somebody. Well, one thing she can do here, here you just have to know how to kind of interpret and use. I would say she could use a nobleman. So you wouldn't want to use the rat because there's negative stars in the north for the year. So you could use the monkey area. It's all kind of just a little bit of a reasoning and deduction and how you can kind of use these areas. So again, showing what your goal is and kind of what your problem is really does kind of troubleshoot and tell you, well, these are the areas you can use. And everything is just right there on the side, easy to use, and all you have to do is interpret the names, and no problem. And again, it just takes a little bit of practice. Okay, and it's just adding an extra layer. One of the things in feng shui that I always tell people, this is the reason I love date selection. I'm so adamant about using date selection, is because to use all three, or to have all three be effective, you really need the date selection. So With the cosmic trinity, most people, when they start doing feng shui, you hear heaven, earth, and man. But what is it, right? So heaven, again, it's the time you're born. You don't choose it. It's kind of the energy you come into this world with. But it's also date selection. It's things you can't, that are the heavenly aspect. A lot of times the stars really do line up well, and you're able to use a really good energy. So it's the heaven aspect. The earth is your feng shui and your environment, your home surroundings, where you live, where you're living, your external environment. And of course, the man is your choices and actions. So with timing, it really shows you what you're activating. And again, if whenever you come to feng shui and you're fairly new, you don't want to add too many layers right away. Um, but one of the most basic things I tell people to do is just look at any tong shu and just look for good stars. Look for red. If red is a positive aspect. And just to make this easy for you, I'll give you all the date. The 28th is a good day. It's a success day. You can pretty much activate any area of your home except for the afflicted areas for the year. You don't want to do annual afflictions. And I would suggest before you do feng shui activations that you do use date selection. When I first started doing feng shui, I would just, I'm going to place water. I'm going to, do this and do that. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I think I caused some weird energy to be activated in some areas. So now I'm more selective about what I do with date selection. I think it's pretty effective. Just a few things to consider. You always want to, of course, avoid the number 5 flying star, the number 2 flying star, because that can cause illness, and just the Tai Soi and the opposing the Tai Soi. So those are the very basic ones you kind of want to avoid for the year. So again, opposing Tai Soi, that's going to be the goat area. And you can use the Tai Soi or the Grand Duke, but you want to make sure you put your back to that energy so you're not directly opposing. Let's see here. And there's so many layers. I'm going to do this one first. There's so many layers. So this is just one little way. Again, I use Chinese Metasoft. So if anybody wants to look through that, it's ChineseMetasoft.com. And it shows you the feng shui for each day, but at the bottom, it gives you all these different layers. So when I do an activation, as you can see, sometimes there's not an area you can use. So you might say, oh my gosh, there's really good flying stars in the south, but holy crap, look at that. There's, 3 killings in the daybreaker. So don't use that, right? And so there's just a bunch of different layers. But for the most part, when you're using flying stars, just look for the 5. A lot of these have to do with renovations. So you just don't want to renovate the area or overactivate with water. But for the most part, you can look at the flying stars and kind of say, okay, I'm going to avoid the 2 star. I'm going to avoid the 5 star and just those annual afflicted areas, especially the year breaker is probably worse than activating the Tai Soi, which is the opposing animal sign. Let's see here. But another thing, so I'm going to show you all just this because it's just good to use. I'm telling you, it's so many layers you can add to it. This is just one of the many layers you can add. So to not confuse too much, the South. So for example, for the South for the year, there is a really good energy. I see combo of 10 of flying stars. There's just all this good energy. And so generally, you can just light a candle there for the year. And for best results, use date selection. But this is just kind of an example of how many different energies you can kind of get in a space and layer together. But to start off simply, I really do just kind of say 5 star, 2 star, and these two filters right here, the Tai Soi and opposing the Tai Soi. Let's see here. And I do, so I do offer too. I started doing the Feng Shui Club, which has weekly date selection. So I find the best dates for y'all. I put on there the days you can activate. And that's just on my website at fengshuibycandice.com. Yeah, the Feng Shui Club is an easier way to kind of look through those energies every week and say, oh, okay, here's a good day for me. And you want to make sure also you're not clashing your animal sign. So whenever you activate. So again, if you need help to troubleshoot, if you don't know what you want in life, if you're trying to get clarity on what you want, or if you need help, like, well, what animal sign can I activate to achieve this one goal, just message me. Again, I offer to lay over your floor plan here, and we can troubleshoot, and I can help you get through something in your life there, and that's just something we can do. I'll help you with, and I don't charge for. Um, so yeah, let's identify one thing you can do to start making a change. So, and if you're interested in Feng Shui Club, of course, it's really good for general date selection and doing Feng Shui activations. Let me see here. Okay. So I know it's a lot of information kind of going on in one, and all these different things. So, is there any questions about how to use the animal signs? Again, I know it's a lot. Is there anything either one of you guys need to know? Like, do you want me to troubleshoot something for you? Look at your natal chart for you. Let's see. Do you have your hand up, Elizabeth? I don't care. Oh, okay. Okay. Unmute you. Okay. There you go.
So, what would you recommend, like for somebody just getting started, even if you have a program to purchase? Like, how do we? Because I'm new, so I'm not entirely following. So I just didn't know how I
Yes.
can learn more. Okay.
I put out a lot of content, and some of it is more geared towards beginners, and some of it is more geared towards, a little bit, and you want to dig in a little bit deeper. If I can clarify anything I talked about, also let me know, because I know so one of the things I will say is just keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Okay.
And what I would do really is I would just start out with the 8 directions.
Okay.
And if you're liking the flying stars, I would start, just learning more about that. Don't try to apply too many layers,
Okay.
at one time,
Okay.
because trying to apply too many layers just makes it confusing. I remember sitting there like crying one time because I was like, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I was just crying. I was like, I should understand this, because I was learning all these advanced things, but I was still learning how to put the application in. So the thing that I tell people to start with, let me see here,
Okay.
really is
Do you recommend learning the basics first before we join the feng shui club? Because I didn't know if the feng shui club, if I didn't know really the basics, I didn't know if I would be able to uh, benefit from that or not.
if you're ready to do feng shui activations, I would say, check it out. There's a 7-day free trial too, if you want to see,
Okay.
can you see my screen here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So again, what I tell people most of the time is this is what I do when someone starts doing feng shui. They're like, hey, I don't even know how to lay this over my floor plan. Is that I'll take this, I'll put it over your floor plan for you. And all you really need to kind of look at is these elements, what's in the space.
Okay.
And then you can start connecting it to your chart later on. So I
Okay.
would just look at what's in the space and enhance them with the elements that are in the space. Again, if you're using flying stars and you'd like that and it's not confusing to you right now, look at the flying stars first. And also forms. I think a lot of times people overlook the feng shui forms. So, and which is really about how your space is laid out. And just start with your front door. your bed, and where your stove is. Those are the most basic, kind of most important things you can start with. Always the front door also, looking at your external environment, seeing what's around you, but really the forms, how your space is laid out.
Do
And then
you have any
yeah. Mhm.
do you have any books that you recommend or any books that you've
Oh
read?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I recommend pretty much all of Joey Yap's books.
Joey.
But I'm sorry, I'm grabbing. Really, when setting up your home and just learning feng shui, um, there's this Joey Yap Interiors, so
Okay.
feng shui for home buyers interior edition,
Okay.
and
Great.
it's really great because it has a lot of pictures. Like it straight shows you, this is the
Okay.
thing you want to avoid, and then he has the exterior, and this is really good if you're looking to buy a home, or looking to
Yeah.
move. So,
We are looking to move, so I
yeah,
should probably
ah,
probably
exterior edition.
first. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
Cool.
book. Yeah, and so yeah, living in an apartment, it is a little bit different. What I would say is let's book a call, and I can kind of tell you, or kind of show you how, because apartment is a little bit different when you're reading the,
Okay.
and even the flying stars will be different, but not to confuse you
Okay.
too much right now. But
Yeah. No worries. Just need to know where to
yeah,
start. Yeah. The feng shui club sounds really cool. I'm just like, I kind of want to know the basics first before I get into that, just to benefit.
yes. Yeah, I would recommend for somebody, again, there's a 7-day free trial. So if you want to look into it, and if you're like, I have no idea where these areas are, finding the areas in your home first and understanding where they're at before trying to, like, do any activations, was really just lighting candles and using the area, or placing water in some cases. So
Okay. All right. Thank you,
yep.
Candace.
Yes, thank you. Did you have any questions? Let's see. I don't want to say your name wrong. You can either type or, let's see here. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I guess I'll bring it to a close, and I'll go ahead and shut her down here. But I really enjoyed digging in a little bit deeper. If anyone has questions later on, you can definitely message me. I'm going to put some links here in the chat. So if you want to find any of the resources, I'm going to send that there. I'll send that. There's the feng shui template. There's a link there. Also, Elizabeth, that says need help with your floor plan. If you can either upload the floor plan, or I'd probably rather book a call just because it's a little easier to explain with the apartment, which I can put a link to also. Ah. Can't seem to find my link to. Copy. I'll put a link here. Okay. And I'll put those up also for anybody else finding this later on. There's the one, if either one of you would like to book that. It's just a free 15-minute call. Again, I offer to go over a couple things with you and kind of explain some things, and we'll talk about floor plans. So, all right. Well, I'll bring that up, and I left the links there, and I'll put links for you guys in watching Facebook Live, and if you find this video later. You guys have a great day. Thanks for spending the day. Bye.